Hey, okay, Bob. This tutorial video is designed to explain a portion of the duty officer system in Star Trek Online for you, Bob. If your name isn't Bob and you need this information too, consider yourself Bob. Okay, Bob. Uh, I'm going to touch on some specifics about the duty officers themselves here. I'm going to talk about their departments, specializations, traits, quality or rarity, a few other things specifically related to your duty officers. So first off, we can open the duty officer menu with the button under the minimap over here in the upper right corner of your screen. It's just to the left of the PvE queue and to the right of the dilithium store. It's this button right here, duty officers. And we get this overview page. Now initially you'll have a total roster capacity of 100 duty officers. There's some special caveats, but I'll get into them in a minute. If you're willing to throw some Zen at it, you can purchase room for 25 or 100 more duty officers at a time. And as of this video, you can get up to a total roster capacity of 400 duty officers, which is what I have, as you can see. So for now we're going to select the duty officer tab at the top of the screen. That's going to give us this page. Now I'm going to hit collapse all real quick, but I'll talk about it in a minute. Duty officers are categorized by their departments. There are 7 departments on the ship, as you can see right here. You got your tactical, security, engineering, operations, science, medical, and civilian departments. All of your duty officers fall under these departments, and each one of them contains specific specializations of duty officers, which are the roles that your duty officers perform on the ship. There are 2 specializations of duty officers that won't be found on this baseline roster here, and that will be prisoners, which are found over here in the brig, and passengers, which are colonists. You can have up to 20 in each of these, and they don't count against your total roster size. So you can also sort these departments by using these nifty little arrows here. So you can just collapse them on your own, or you can note this is a context sensitive button, so if any categories are collapsed, it'll say expand, and if any of them are if they're all expanded, it'll say collapse. So you can also sort by their specializations. There's this lovely long list here that I'm not going to read because, well, I don't want to suck up your time, but you can sort using this thing here, and it will immediately cull the list based on what it is you're looking at. And you notice I clicked on colonist here, and that's because they're not actually on your roster. They're in the passenger compartment. So yeah, it automatically sifts through the list here up here at the top in the filter box. Now next I'm going to talk about their traits. Each duty officer has a number of traits that define their characteristic. They can have anywhere between 1 and however many. I mean, you can definitely see here this guy has 5, this guy has 2, this guy has 4, this one has 3. I've seen as few as 1, and I think the most I've seen is 5. Now traits will come into play when you're sending officers on assignments more than, right now just staring at them. So I'll talk about it later when I get around to that. To see which traits they have, you can just mouse over them initially, and you'll get this little tooltip: unscrupulous, this one's teamwork, this one's resolve, eidetic memory, and congenial. After a while, you should be able to recognize these symbols without really having to use the tooltip. An interesting thing to note is the fist going down is teamwork because it's a shaking hand. The fist going up, which is probably a fist, is unruly. But every single one of them has their own descriptor, their own picture. So you can sort them by their traits as well, using this little pull-down, handy-dandy pull-down arrow, and then you have this traits thing here. And it has the whole list of them. Don't ask why tactful is up here and cunning is down here. I have no idea. I think it's a holdover from a previous version. But you can sort. Now, the left boxes are includes, and the right boxes are excludes. So if you click include, you find all the tactful people, and then I want to exclude all the logical people, or something like that. And the list will update itself as you do things. Now, your duty officers have their own quality or rarity scale, just like the one for items in the game. You know, green, white, green, blue, and purple. Same as items. And you can tell what rarity they have by just looking at their portraits. Or their names are also in the color. So if we click common, because you can sort using the quality thing up here. If you click common, you can sort by just the common officers, and you can see their names are in white, and there's like a blue, a basic border. But if you sort by uncommon, you'll see the border turns green, and they get a little hash mark there, and their name is in green. And then in rare, there are 2 hash marks. The border is bright blue, and their names are in blue. And then very rare, you get 3 hash marks, purple, with purple names. And this rarity comes into play when you're sending them on assignments and when you're assigning them to your active duty slots. So I'll talk about those things when I get to them. However, it is now time to talk about active duty. Oh look, Bob, how about that? So active duty assignments are found over here on the active space and active ground. And this is basically where you equip your ship with a particular duty officer so you can take advantage of their special abilities. Now, we're going to just click here on active space. When you select these tabs, your roster is automatically sorted for the relevant duty officers. The guys who have compatible abilities with being in space, or, if you click on the ground. And it'll say right here, ground, next to their title, or their specialization. And you can equip up to 5 of these guys in each category. These abilities have a direct effect on how certain skills that either your bridge officers or you happen to use. And you need to understand, though, that while a duty officer is on active duty, they can't be sent on any assignments. Also, they don't count against your total roster capacity. Your roster. So effectively right now I have 402 officers, or duty officers, because I have 10 assigned. It's weird, but yeah, just go with it. So by assigning an officer to active duty, you gain their ability, but they also become bound to character. So be sure you want to equip them instead of trading them. Can't trade them if they're bound. Sorry. Now, their active duty abilities range from reducing specific cooldown timers to giving you a short buff to, allowing you to do more damage. Like here I have 2 guys who do increased damage versus Tholians. Over here I have a chance to beam in an additional phaser turret, a chance to beam in an additional support drone, a chance to beam in an additional mortar. Over here it is recharge time is reduced on all my transwarp abilities, chance to reduce the time to recharge beam attacks, a chance to reduce the time to recharge my torpedo launchers. So, there are a wide variety of abilities, and I highly recommend you read through your duty officers to find what works best with the skills and abilities that you like to use. Rarity has an effect on these duty officers. Now, I'm gonna show off a little bit of some of the stuff I've shown already. So we're gonna sort by projectile weapon officer. We're going to sort by common. So as you can see, I have 3 common projectile weapon officers, and they all say the same thing. Now over here you note I have 3 purple guys equipped to my ship, and they say the exact same thing. All of them have a chance to reduce the time to recharge torpedoes, but if you hit the I, the view dossier button, if you will, you can see exactly what that ability does. You have a 20% chance to improve your recharge time by 2 seconds every time your torpedoes are on recharge. So that's if you equip this particular duty officer. Now if we sort by uncommon, you'll see how those abilities change. I also have 3 of these guys. 20% chance still, but it improves the recharge time by 3 seconds. So basically what this means is that depending on the cooldown of your torpedo launcher, how quickly it takes to fire a torpedo after you've fired a torpedo already, it can be reduced by however long these officers have, 20% of the time. And you can also see over here that I've got 5 seconds. So I can have either a reduction of 2, 3, 4, or 5 seconds every 20%. Now, you can have up to 3 of a particular duty officer assigned to active duty. Now, but certain ones, like, for example, the astrometric scientist here, you can only have 1 of equipped. So, you know, trial and error, figure it out. Basically, what these 3 guys mean for me is I'm running quantum torpedoes, and you can actually see the effects. It'll pop up if you mouse over your torpedo. You can see here I have a 20% chance to improve the recharge time by 5 seconds, another 20% chance to improve the recharge time by 5 seconds, and yet another one to improve the recharge time by 5 seconds. Quantum torpedoes have a default recharge time of 8 seconds. So as you can see, a fair portion of the time, I just rapid fire torpedoes. I have 4 torpedo launchers. But also over here, I have a duty officer, and his ability is 50% of the time, he reduces the remaining recharge time of the skill by 15 seconds. Beam Array Fire at Will and Beam Array Overload have a 30-second recharge time. So, you know, that's a useful little thing there. So I hope that's helped. Duty officers do a lot of things for you, and by reading their abilities, you can get a better idea of how they can fit into your particular preferred tactics. So, I hope that helps, and I will talk more about duty officers in another video. Good luck, Bob.